time. And I'm always a great believer. If you do have great sides that win anything, you've got to have 2, maybe 3 players. I've got a little bit of that. Well, we had maybe 3 or 4 that could give a little bit of that. And Billy Phillips never took many prisoners. Nobby was a much maligned player. He didn't really mean what he done. He meant a lot worse.
Couldn't see what he done.
A funny story about Nobby one day. I remember Nobby's first game for England. He played against Scotland at Wembley in 1965. And the worst thing about Wembley sometimes is standing in the tunnel. It's not the actual playing the game. You're desperate to go on the pitch. And I was playing number 4 for Scotland, and Nobby was playing number 4 for England. Dennis was playing for Scotland number 10, and Bobby Charlton was playing. And I'm trying to G Nobby up because it was the time at Wembley when you got thousands of Scots people come down and were drunk for 2 days. Probably the half of them went home and didn't realise what the score was. And I'm G'ing Nobby, but just go out and play your natural game as long as you don't come near me. Well, he looked up at Dennis, and Dennis totally bottled him. Well, he kicked Dennis all over Wembley. Had a big mistake in Dennis's part. But he had bad eyes as well, Nobby.
What about the famous trip to South America? And I think it was Bilardo himself who ended up as being
manager of the Argentina. He was a dirty
so-and-so
he was. Oh, filthy. I mean, the game was a whole farce at that time because it was just after Alf Ramsey England had beaten Argentina in the quarterfinals or the semi-final? Quarterfinal, that's right. They beat Portugal in the semi-final.
Sorry, but just as you're going on there, Wolf McGuinness was telling a good story the other night about this dog, right? He says he was the only person who could cut you and stitch you at the same time.
You're right. He did. You're right. He went over the top to Bobby Charlton. I'm not kidding. I remember it. And Bobby had blood scooting out his shin. But they were absolutely filthy.
What were your memories of playing in Europe for Manchester United?
Brief memories.
The night I always remember involving yourself was when you put Maradona to shame and came back from 2 goals down against Barcelona. That must have been, even in your glittering career, one of the great high spots.
Well, that was the best year I've been involved with the club because we obviously got the semi-final. And we're very unfortunate to get beat by Juventus in the semi. But yeah, the Barcelona game was great because we'd gone across there and we should have got a better result than what we did. We got beat 2-0, but we had some really good chances which we didn't take. So to come back and win 3-0, I mean, that's the best atmosphere I've ever.
I don't remember too much about the following couple of days.
You are the 3 looking at this gentleman here. I mean, you've all had to live with the fact that he played in the last side that won the league in 1967. It's a horrible date that's thrown at you, I'm sure, almost every day of your lives. How much of a problem has it become with the length of time? Steve, I mean, in your time, was it still being talked about?
Without doubt. I think the longer it's gone, obviously the league title is the one that they all want. It's all very well winning the cup and doing well, but it's the league title, that is the one. And you think of the size and stature of Manchester United, all things being equal, they should have won it in that period. But it's amazing how things do go. It could well be that once they get a latch on the trophy, that it'll be 3 or 4 in a tumble. I think it just needs that confidence, you know. And in my time, I think the closer we came, we were runners-up one year. And you just felt, unfamiliar with it.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, Stevie, more than
Liverpool and Arsenal now and the teams that, they've done it. Once you've done it, I think that's half the battle.
It's easy after that.
I mean, if someone the duck's gone, that'll be it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you. If someone had said to me in 1967 that within the next 24 years Manchester United wouldn't win the championship, I'd have laughed at them. You'd have laughed at them. You'd have thought the biggest club, and certainly in Britain anyway, you'd have thought, well, they're a certainty to win the league maybe once every 3 or 4 years. And it's just, I think it's become a monkey in the players' backs, that people are on about it all the time, and it's making it more difficult for managers and players.
When you were signed, did you feel that you were yet another player bought to win the league championship?
Well, I thought when I signed and we beat the league champions at the time 4-1 at Old Trafford in front of a capacity crowd, I thought I know you can't say after one game, but I thought we might have had a good chance, and then we had a couple of injuries again that year, but I mean, our league form last year was obviously very disappointing. The FA Cup was obviously a bit of a bonus for us.
That was your debut, of course, was a big day for the club all round, wasn't it?
Yeah, we had a juggling chairman at the time. That was I couldn't believe it. I passed him in the tunnel, actually juggling the ball and stretching. That was I couldn't believe it. I've never seen that from a chairman of a football club ever.
But you won the game 4-1, so
everything started in a carnival atmosphere and just went steadily downhill after that.
Driven in low, and Steve Bruce! The new regime at Manchester United off to a flying start. the goal. David Rocastle. Arsenal give another twist to this captivating plot. Manchester United looking to come again here with Duxbury. Hughes, that's a great turn. Mark Hughes! Webb. Neil Webb with a classic volley to embroider his first league game for Manchester United. Hughes. Phelan. Arsenal could lose here by an increasing number. They are now 4-1 down. Bryan McClure.
Being involved in this club, you don't like to make excuses, especially when it's injuries are concerned. But I definitely think it's affected the rhythm of this club on quite a few years with injuries. I mean, it only shows when you look at Nottingham Forest when they actually won the league, and Aston Villa when they won the league. I think Aston Villa were a perfect example. I think they used about 13 players in the whole season. Now, I mean, I think if our club could actually do that just for one season, you would get a more consistent run.
One thing that has been very consistent is that the cup success over the period, and Paddy, as I said at the start, you were at the club just a few weeks, fighting relegation in the league and striding out at Wembley.
But it was an absolute fantastic day. I couldn't believe all the pomp and ceremony and then winning the cup as well. Absolutely fantastic. We had great players at the club then. It never had really clicked, and I think to the degree at United, Matt had bought a few players, and sometimes you don't really understand a player's style till you've played with them a little period of time. And this was the end of the season. We all knew each other by then. And when you think of Bobby and Dennis Law and Johnny Giles, great players, Albert Quixel, great players.
How did you play on the day?
Done all right. I got the Man of the Match award. I did, believe it or not. No, well, I've got to say that for posterity.
Did they have them at that time?
They did. On my life, Brian, I got a cigarette lighter. That's what I got, a cigarette.
You've never smoked?
I've never smoked, no. And it's funny, I've seen it before. I met Stan Morrison not so very long ago, and he was the star man in the '48 Cup final. Even though it was Matthew's final, and Matthew's got the name for it. He got a cigarette lighter as well. Cigarette lighter? The FA must be full of cigarette lighters. Full of them.
Steve, you had 3 cup finals in 4 seasons. That's fantastic, really, with mixed fortunes. You were certainly favourites to win the first one against Southampton.
Yeah.
What went wrong?
I don't know, like we were a young side. We took the first division by storm. We played really well. I think we were in the top 3 more or less all season. And again, as soon as we were up at the top, people were talking about at one stage getting the double and all this business, which I think on young shoulders put a lot of pressure on. But just on the day, like it's easy to say we froze, but we just did not perform.
Shannon, nice touch again. Carry on. Oh, look at this. Bobby Stokes. Hit well. Oh, he's there! Stokes has put Southampton in the lead.
I remember Sammy McElroy from underneath. I mean, it was impossible to miss it. If you had said to him, the one thing I want you to do is put it over the bar, that's the hardest thing to do. How he missed it, I'll never know.
I think Paddy's saying you go there and you want to go back. You know, that feeling is all the more when you've been there and you've been beaten. And I remember we came back and we had the drive around the city, and the doc said outside the town hall, he said, we'll be back in 12 months' time. You know, all the players are going, oh, you know, shut up. Don't want that pressure 12 months prior. But true enough, like the determination and the will to go back was such that eventually we did.
I had my 3 kids with me at Wembley that day, and 3 of their pals. I took one of these loony decisions to take them all to Wembley because they're United supporters, and 3 of their pals, 6 of them. And they scored about 13 minutes to go or something, Southampton, didn't they? And all the kids started crying. They all started, and I thought, bloody hell, I mean, kids screaming, not crying. And I'm saying, oh, don't worry, kids, out the goodness, man. Take you all back next year. We'll be back again next year, and sure as God it happened.
Yes, back they all went in 1977, but Liverpool are the opposition and on course for the treble of League, FA Cup and European Cup.
This time, United are undoubtedly the underdogs.
Is Jimmy Greenov's header on for Pearson? A chance on here. And Pearson is the scorer. Jones. Case. Good turn. Oh, yes! A brilliant goal by Jimmy Case. On by Macari. Smith slips slightly. Jimmy Greenov. And has it gone in by Macari, is it?
That was the end for Tommy Docherty.
Well, yeah. I couldn't believe it.
Was it a very dramatic thing personally for you as a player? Sort of.
Well, I think the whole team he'd brought in, more or less, and I'm trying to think now, must have been 5 or 6 he brought in himself, and he was a father figure to so many of the team. And I heard about it. I was just driving one day, and it was on the radio, and I thought it was a wind-up. I had to check the calendar. It wasn't April the 1st, and you know when he'd left, it was hollow. The club was hollow for a while.
2 years later, you got to Wembley again, though, under Dave Sexton in what's remembered as, well, I suppose it was a fairly straightforward final up to a point, and then suddenly became one of the great legends of the
I've never gone from such a high to such a low so quickly. Like I remember it to this day, like Sammy McIlroy scoring, like we were 2-0 down, and then we got 1 goal back on McQueen, and then Sammy scored. And I remember he went running off to the side of the pitch, and we all ran over there. Like in my mind's eye, I could see the headlines in the papers the next day, you know, United trying 4-2 extra time. I could see it, 4-2, we were going to win 4-2, I was convinced. And a minute or so later, like we were 3-2 down, that was a good night, Vienna.
2-0 down. And hope now is fast fading for them as Coppell lifts that free kick in there again. It'll come all the way through to Jordan, turning it back in there again, and a goal! And it's given! And McQueen is the man who claims it, and suddenly United are back in the game with 4 minutes left, and who knows what might be produced in those 4 minutes. Well, the United fans wanted him to get on with it, and that wasn't a very good ball by him. But here's Coppell, and there's McIlroy getting in there. Can he finish it off? Yes, he can! 2 goals in a minute! And suddenly United are back in it. Well, look at that picture, that tells it all. Arsenal were preparing their victory speeches, and now they're dumbstruck. What an amazing turnabout. And the scenes on the 2 benches, well, I've never known. The despair on the face of Don Howe and Terry Neal. But wait a moment, it's there by Sunderland! And they're back in the lead again, and they're off the bench once more. What an amazing cup final.
If you think of that, there's a minute to go in the cup final, extra time beckoning. Like they were wiped out. I think they were needing the rest just as badly as we were. And to score in that 60 seconds, you know, it's what makes the FA Cup final very special.
Well, Bryan, you know plenty about FA Cup finals.
I'm just pleased I haven't had the same experience as Barry and Steve. Because the times I've been there, like we've always went on to win, which is always nice. I mean, it took us a couple of replays to do it, but it's always been nice to end up with the trophy at the end of the day.
You could have lost in '83 to
Robson. Smith. Yeah. Gary Bailey made a great save last minute of extra time. You know, but I've always said, I mean, that's what goalkeepers are there for. You know, they're there to make good saves, and Gary hadn't had that much to do in that game, but he pulled it out for us at the time, and that helped us win the cup at the end of the day.
Put out there, Case. Turned on as Robinson got the legs. Scott Moran after him, and Robinson still in control. Play for Smith, and saved by Bailey. My word, what a remarkable...
In the first division of the year, we got banned And Forest had qualified for UEFA, and it was disappointed, but now we're back, it's good.